Well, thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. Your first episode. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I love your studio and everything. So before we get into anything about me, because I know you have me as a guest, I think the audience wants to know all about you since it's Lily's World. What inspired this podcast?
I was at my guy's house and we was cooking. He gave me this avocado. I was sitting at his kitchen table. I was up there looking at it, trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do that with a knife? What am I supposed to do with this? And because it was hard, I thought it was like a tomato or anything that you're supposed to cut. And he went to the restaurant somewhere, and I'm out there saying, where's he at? What am I doing with this thing? And then he turned around, he came. I'm still looking at this avocado. And then he told me, he said, you got to turn around and you have to cut it. I said, oh, okay. I thought it was something like a tomato. He said, no, you got to do it. So then he turned around. He cut it. I guess early in our relationship, he found out I can cook. So I became, when I go to his house, I became his assistant in cooking. He cooked, I chop. That's what I do. And so when I did this avocado, and he turned around and I looked at it, opened it up, man, it was the seed. I could not figure out how avocado can have a seed this big. He turned around, he laughed. And I said, this is kind of unbelievable to me. And so what happened after that, every time I turned around and I said something funny, this and that, he started writing it down. And this was the beginning of, it started out with Lily's bio comic book. So I have a comic book that's coming out pretty soon. It started out with that. Then we thought about it. I said, okay, let's do a podcast. And so that was the beginning of Lily's World Comic Podcast.
Okay, that's a funny story. So you tell me you could cook a little bit now.
I think my church, baby, look, I think my church members and everybody said, even the pastor got on the pulpit and said, when they had different things, they said, well, we don't want Sister Lilly up here cooking.
So, like, since I've known you, you've embraced this. I know you're a mom and a grandmother, but you've always embraced the fact that I can cook. Like, don't think I'm the grandma that's cooking and all this stuff. You've embraced your craziness, as you call it. But how would your family describe you?
They described me as eccentric, and they told me, you dance to your own tune. So I just dance to my own music. Whatever comes up, come out.
And so were you like this as a child too? Or did you have to grow into, like, say I'm a little different?
Child, look, my mama hurt my feelings. She got up there and she told me, she said, Lily? I said, what, Mom? She said, me and your dad was talking. I said, now what? She said, yeah, my dad, she said, your dad said you was crazy. I said, huh? Y'all sitting in the room talking about me. I don't think that was nice.
So how old were you when this happened?
In my 20s. So I think I've been like this all my life.
So since you were like this, what made you pivot from like the eccentric creative side to pursue like a career and an education in the medical field?
Well, back in the day, when I did, I have went to like 1,100 and some colleges. I didn't take it seriously. School, I didn't really take it seriously too. To be honest with you, I'm shocked at what I'm doing too. I really am, because when I was in high school, what I literally did, I cut a lot. what happened is when I was in high school, they gave us major back in the day. They gave us major and minors. So I figured, if they gave us major and minors, then the major count, but the minors don't. So I said, I could cut the minors. They don't count.
So you end up, as I know from what I've heard, you pursued your degree while you were a mom and a wife, right?
You
finished your degree while you were a mom and a wife. Right?
I did finish my degree when I was a mom, because when I was in college too, sorry to say, I partied, and all my classes was. I went to 7 or 8 different colleges before I took it seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did the behavioral health part come in? Like, what made you study that?
I guess it came from my life. I guess it came from my life. Everything that I have experienced in life, and marriage, you get divorced, so you kind of just want to help people out. So I do have a degree in behavior science.
And so did you learn things about yourself, like pursuing that degree? Did you learn anything? Like, I know you said mom and daddy said you were crazy, but what did you learn?
Well, I went to National Lewis University. And when I went there, my GPA was pretty good, but it was this teacher. She told me I was writing little plays, and I had my sons acting out, for a grade. And I was on the elevator at National Lewis, and the teacher turned around and told me, she said, when I did a little skit, she said, girl, that is so funny. I should have recorded. And I'm up there thinking, I said, now, wait a minute. I already got the grade. This was like 2 years ago. Why is she still talking about that? I couldn't figure it out. So that's when I knew I had a niche for playwriting.
Did you bring any creativity to your job when you worked at the county hospital? Or were
when,
you able to?
When I worked at Cook County Hospital, I started writing poetry. That's when I started writing poetry, and that was about life. I didn't think I had anything to say or this and that, but one thing happened was when I was writing poetry, this doctor, he came, I gave him a copy of my poem. He turned around and he hung it in his office. This social worker came to me and said, this doctor, I don't want to give names, but this doctor, he had one, I want a copy. I was scratching my head again, and I said, why she want a copy? Because I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was really of nothing. I didn't really think it was of nothing. So I said, oh, okay. From there on, I turned it into 2 books. I wrote 2 books.
Now, you published a book. Like, now, a lot of people could publish books easily online. It's so easy. But you did this at a time when it was probably a little bit more challenging to publish a book yourself published. How did you go about that?
I published my book in 2003. I had a publishing person. Her name is Catherine Wash, and she helped me. She literally helped me publish my book. And so from there on, we did Women's Black Expo. I went and did poetry just everywhere. You name it. She got us gigs doing poetry just everywhere. I'm also affiliated with another poetry group, and we do poetry everywhere.
And where did you get the nickname? I mean, I'm sure it's probably from here, but I'm not sure. Where did you get who gave you the nickname Red the Poet?
Well, Red the Poet came from my ex-husband. He used to call me Red. And so you put it together, you get Red the Poet. Okay. That's where that came from.
And what was the theme of some of your poetry?
If I can, I recite one. You want me to?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, one that when I was a substitute teacher, I recited to the kids. It's called Jigaboo. And it goes like this. Jigaboo, 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 child. Is that your name? Black, brown, light, dark, near white. I can't tell. Where your colors identify what flavor you are. Nappy, kinky hair, full lips. It's the reflection of our own birth right in the USA. Caught up, put down, picked up by Mary Jane White, the green dust, shaking that leaf, not to take that leaf. Cry, 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 if you must, my child. Shoot 'em up, kill 'em up like a Lone Ranger. So that's the end of that. That's the end of that.
So you were performing your poetry in
I used to perform. I performed my poetry, got paid for my poetry, and I still perform the poetry.
So since you were performing poetry and writing, what made you make the switch to strictly going to playwriting? And then also, the two-part question, how did you meet Miss Jackie Taylor?
What I told you earlier, this is really not me. It was God. Because I call it like God's joke. Because I really didn't pay attention to school. And so this had to be like divine and straight from God. Now, the answer to your question in regards to Jackie Taylor, I first started out taking classes at ETA. And then at ETA, hold up. I first started at the Chicago Theater Company, then ETA, then Jackie Taylor.
Okay. So you had a lot of training before you jumped out there and kind of saw your first play on stage.
Right, but the training was I by me going to theaters, I went back to school. I went to Kennedy King and took up some more classes because to me I didn't have the foundation of theater. So I went back to school to build up more of my foundation.
And that's good. So you took the craft very seriously.
I took the craft very seriously.
That's great. Especially since Chicago, the black theater scene and the playwrights are very well known and things like that.
Right.
So how was it the first time you saw your play? Or what was the first play you saw on stage that you actually saw actors performing that you wrote?
To be honest with you, I have written like 20 or 30 plays.
You don't remember.
So I really couldn't remember. But I can tell you about the recent plays that I've done.
Well, okay, yeah, go ahead.
So the recent plays that I have done a few years ago was Lady T.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Lady T.
That was really good.
Right. Lady T with Rick James.
Oh, Rick James. Okay.
And so
one about Tina Marie.
Yeah, with Tina Marie, and which is Tina Marie. So with Lady T and Rick James, and what I kept in, if anybody ever seen it, he said, and he was on stage before he passed away. He said, "I'm Rick James, bitch," and I kept that in there too.
Yeah.
I kept that right in the play. So, and the other play that I did was Tammy Terrell. I did Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye.
That's what I saw, Tammy Terrell. When you said T, I thought about Tammy Terrell. I saw the Tammy Terrell. Yeah.
And the last recent play that I did was Homeless. Now, Jackie Taylor is doing a pause. But the next play that's coming, if they will produce it, because you never know,
right?
Is Jerry Butler. So the next play, if they do it, will be Jerry Butler.
And speaking of Jerry Butler, how important is it to you growing up in Chicago, bringing Chicago stories to the stage and to the screen?
Well, Jerry Butler, it's very important to me because I'm telling my story, then I'm telling Chicago's story, and then with Jerry Butler, I'm telling his story. Now, with Jerry Butler, he worked at Cook County Hospital. He was on the board at Cook County Hospital.
Wow.
I worked at Cook County Hospital.
Wow.
So I think that was a good niche.
That is a good
And then it's like to bring him back into, everybody's consciousness.
Right. Because a lot of people who are well known here sometimes in the mainstream get overlooked sometimes.
Right. And Jerry Butler also worked with what's that guy's name?
From Chicago?
Right. No, he's not from Chicago.
Oh, did he work with James Brown?
He did your Pusher Man.
Oh, Curtis Mayfield.
Him and Jerry Butler and Curtis Mayfield. Jerry Butler was 19 years old. Curtis Mayfield was 17 when they first met. Yes, I had to do a lot of research in regards to them.
I like the research you do now. Now, you say you weren't into school a lot. What makes you so passionate about researching these artists? And I know you go through like really deep research. What makes you more passionate about this kind of thing?
Well, you have to research to be authentic and to really tell their story. Other than that, I'll be telling my story. Which I'm telling my story right now, right?
And do you have a favorite play that you've written?
I had a favorite play that I read, and I can't think about it, but in front of your mom.
Okay, so it's a 3-letter word. I remember that play.
Starts
with an S. Yes, okay.
Yeah. And the only thing I can tell you about that play, it was really shorty. And when the men in the audience found out about that play, the men was laughing louder than the women.
Wow. But I know we got a couple more questions before we wrap up. So I know the audience will enjoy your shows just as much as people enjoy being around you. So you're a mom, a grandmother, you've divorced mom of two. Yeah. So and you've been a working mom. You're right. What's the type of audience that you see enjoying your show? Do you think it would be like working moms like you would enjoy it? You're heavily involved in your church, so women who are spiritual. Like, what's the type of woman that you think that would enjoy these conversations they would have?
I think the person that would enjoy my show is anyone that can come out their comfort zone and tell a little about themselves. The whole premise of Lily's World is to come out your comfort zone. Tell a little about yourself, what cray that happened to you. My podcast is not about putting people down, not talking down at anybody, not laughing at anybody, but literally laughing at yourself. As you said, by me having a degree in behavior science, I want a person to get in contact with their selves. If you can laugh at yourself, it might be something that transpired in your life that you may not take too seriously. Because life is about learning and not taking things seriously.
Right, and I think the places of pain are the ones that you can actually make the most art out of, and sometimes laugh at it later, or sometimes laugh at just when you look back on it, laugh, things like that. You can put, and so people aren't afraid to examine things they've gone through, and not look back on it too angrily.
Right, and I give you for instance, and this might wrap up the show, but I remember going back to church and taking choir lessons, and I had the elder, my choir director. She would come around and look at everybody, and I'm a soprano, and she would say, Lillian, you're not adding the words in there. You use your own words. I said, oh, okay. And then she kind of pulled me off to myself by myself, said, okay, well, let me hear what you're singing. Let me hear how you sound. I said, okay, and I started singing. I said, she said, okay. So from there on, I said, you know what? I'm going to show her. And, rest in peace, Elder Brown, she passed away. So in honor of her, I said, I'm going to go and take some voice lessons. And I did. And so I went there, and I took some voice lessons, and the guy got up there, my instructor, voice instructor, the scale. And I said, yeah, I know the scale. So he said, recite the scale. I said, A, E, I, O, and U, S, sometimes Y. He looked at me. And when he looked at me, he laughed so hard that everybody that was in there came in there to see what he was laughing about. And he said, no, Lily, no. It's
don't re me.
Yeah, it's don't re me for I said, I apologize. I guess it's more like the avocado seed.
That's a good. As we know, Lily likes to live in every episode of the funny story. She has plenty of them. So thank you so much for sharing your inspiration for the podcast with us. Just a glimpse of your life, and then that story, because I know there's more to come. So congratulations, episode 1. And you got through without any. Hold up.
Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay. Yes. I am Natalie Salter. Well, I'm a teacher. And I'm an actress as well. I started acting in '99. I did plays at some of the places you mentioned, ETA, Chicago Theater Company, things like that. But now, since I'm busy, like in my daytimes, teaching 8 to 3, sometimes 4, I do comedy pages. So I have a comedy page on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram called Who Next. And I do some of the funny things that happen to me, and I take myself too seriously. The recent one that's gotten really popular is when I went to Walgreens one day, and she said, "Is this all for you?" I said, "That's all." She said, "Okay, with your senior discount, that'll be some."
You're not a singer.
I know.
She's not a singer.
And I paused. I was like, and I couldn't say nothing because I was too embarrassed to say I'm like 20 years away from being a senior. So I said, "Okay, thank you." So then I was leaving out the door, and I said, "Okay." And I heard her say it again. I said, "Oh, maybe she thinks middle-aged people is like that." But then it was the elderly man, like with a cane and gray hair. No, she was talking to me the first time.
To you?
But the second time she was talking to him, so I guess she put me in that same boat. Wow. Anyway, I made a skit about it, and it's real popular right now. So, like you said, being able to laugh at yourself.
You have to. You have to laugh at yourself.
Because I said the day I was like, what? I kind of need a makeover or something. But anyway, thank you again for having me your first episode. I'm so honored. And like, Who Nat, if y'all looking for me on any of my pages, and
please tune in to Natalie Salter's comedy. Who's next?
Yeah, Who Next? You said Who's Next?
Oh, that ain't it. I ain't get that right.
Wait, look. Hold up. It's not Who's Next.
I didn't get that right either.
Who's Next? But thank you again. And I know this show will be awesome. Episode 1. I'm so honored to be on the first one.
Hey, let me not say that I was nervous as crack, but I got relaxed. So.
Yeah, right. Because this is what you do. This is what you was made to do.
So until the next episode, have a blessed day. See you around in the next episode. I'll keep you informed.
And like and subscribe.
Not
subscribe.
What you said?
Subscribe. Like.
Oh, my bad. Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Okay.